This is a video about how to use the library's catalog searching system, Destiny Quest. When you log on to Destiny Quest, you will see three boxes in the center of the screen. The one on the left talks about the top 10 books in our library. These are the books that are checked out the most often. You notice that number 1, the book Miscellany is Zany. This book is checked out, and I know that because of this little red sticker on it that says out. So there's really no point in looking for that book because I know it's not here. If I go down to the next book, number 2, it's called Across the Stream, and I see it has a little sticker on it that says in. So I'm going to click on it. When I click on it, it gives me additional details about that title. It tells me the book's title, who it's written by, who drew the pictures, a brief description of the book, and it also tells me accelerated reader information. I can see that this book is a level 1.2 and it is worth half of a point. So I know that it is an accelerated reader book. Next I look at the call number to see where my book is located in the library. I see that it's located on the easy shelves. I know that because it has an E in the front, and that it is on the shelf letter G. And I know that because the G is right there beside the E. So that would be where I would look for it. If I look down at the bottom, I see additional information like the publisher and also how many pages long the book is. This book is 23 pages long. And down at the bottom it tells me what grade level of interest level it is. And this one says K through 3. And if I click over here where it says quiz info, it will also give me that quiz number if I should need that. And so if I think I might be interested in reading this book, I just push on where it says add to list, and it tells me it's in my list. When I go back to the main screen, I see over here on the right my list, and it says I have one title in it. The reason I did that is so that I can go back when I'm finished searching and look at the titles that were interesting to me to decide which ones I want to go and look for in the library. In the center of the screen, you'll see where it says Resource List. These are lists that I have created, or maybe your classroom teachers have created, of books about a particular topic that you can look at. For instance, I've created this list called Back to School. And if you click on it, you'll see a variety of books that I have placed in this list that are about going back to school. And it has 34 titles in it. If I look right here, I see that there are 34 books in this list. If I don't like the ones that are listed here, I can go over to the next page. And I see here, I'm looking for a chapter book. And I see this one here that's in the FIC section. That means fiction. And that's where the chapter books of this library are kept. And so I know that this is a chapter book because of the FIC. And so I'm going to click on it. And it says it's in, which is good news. And I see it's called Frendel. And I'm going to just quickly read the description. When he decides to turn his 5th grade teacher's love of the dictionary around on her, clever Nick Allen invents a new word and begins a chain of events that quickly moves beyond his control. Okay, that sounds interesting. I see that it's an AR level 5.4, and it's worth 2 points. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm going to look down here at the additional information. Well, this book is 105 pages. That seems pretty good. I think I could read that maybe over the weekend. So I'm going to add that to my list. Okay, and it tells me it's in my list, so I'm going to close this window. And I'm going to look also at this other page and see, what other kind of books there are. And see if there's any other chapter books. So here's one. This one, Ramona the Pest. Let's look at it. Okay, I see it's a level 5.1. Ooh, it's worth 4 points, but it's 211 pages. So I might be interested in that. I'm going to put it in my list. Okay. And so I'm going to close that and close this. The other thing that I wanted to call your attention to was the new arrivals box These are books that are new to our library that have just been placed into the catalog, so you can take a look at those. I'm going to click on this one, Dinosaur Pet. I see that it's in. I don't have a whole lot of details about it, but it sounds kind of cool. I like dinosaurs, so I'm going to add it to my list and just go and see what it looks like. Okay, and so once I finish there, I can go to my list, and I can see the titles that I have in there. These are the different ones that I've been looking at during this searching session. But I'm not finished. I think I want to look for something else too. So I'm going to close this box. And next we're going to talk about how to search for keywords. So if there's something that I'm interested in, maybe I'm interested in horses, so I'm going to start typing horses. And as I start typing, it gives me a suggestion of something to search for, and that's what I want, so I'm just going to click on that. When I click on horses, I see that it gives me 181 results. Well, I really don't have time. We just have a few minutes for book checkout. I really don't have time to look through all 181 results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the left where it says narrow your search. And the first way that I want to narrow it is I'm going to look in the interest level. Let's pretend I'm a 4th grade student and, I really don't want these kindergarten books. So I'm going to move it up to about a 3rd grade level. And I don't really want anything more than maybe like a 5th grade level because I don't want it to be too hard for me to read. And then I'm going to apply that. Okay, well that cut it down to 132 books, which is better, but it's still a little bit more than I really want to look through. So I'm going to narrow the search again. This time I'm going to do it by pages. This is how many pages long it is. And I think I want to keep it maybe around 100 pages. So you see down there at the bottom it tells me how many pages. So I'm going to move it down to about 100, roundabout. Okay, and I'm going to apply that. And then that gives me 53 results, and that's a lot more manageable. I feel like I can look through 53 results. So I'm going to come down to my books that I see here, and this time I'm looking for a nonfiction book. The way that I know it's nonfiction is because it has a number. And that means it's in the nonfiction section of our library. So I really would like to read a true book about horses. Okay, again, I'm going to be looking for the words in because that means that the book is in our library. If a book says ask, that most likely means that someone in our district has the book, but we do not have it in our library. Okay, so I'm looking here. There's a book about drawing. Oh, miniature horses. That looks kind of interesting. Well, I can kind of just hold my mouse over it, and it'll tell me a little bit of information about the book. Right here it tells me that it is available, that it is 48 pages long, and it tells me it discusses the breeds, characteristics, history, and uses of miniature horses. Okay, well that sounds pretty good. And I see here it is nonfiction. Here's my call number. It's in the 600 section. So I can either click here, add to list, or you can also click on the picture and drag it up to your list like that and just drop it in. Okay. And so when I click on my list over here, library checkout time's about over, and it's time for me to go and find my books. So I go back to my list and I look at all of these books. And so what I want to do is the ones that I want to look for the most, jot them down on a little sheet of paper and jot the call numbers down. Remember, the call number is always down here at the bottom. The E stands for easy. The FIC are our chapter books here in this library. And the numbers, 636.1, those are in the nonfiction section. So that would be how I would go and look for those books.